This is the card I'll be showing you how to make today. It's called a waterfall card, but it's a really cool interactive card here. Super fun to play with. But I used the all squared away stamp set and the floral square dies to create each of the little squares that I have here on my interactive card here. So I'm going to show you how I got all this. So to get started, I just started grabbing some of the square dies here from the die set. And I also grabbed some of the In Color 2021-2023 Shimmer Vellum. So I have some of the polished pink and the pale papaya, and also a sheet of the Expressions in Ink DSP that we will be using also throughout this. So grab your Big Shot or your die cutting machine platforms here. So you'll have the number 1, the number 2, and the number 3 here. And so I have this die, and I'm going to run that out of the polished pink shimmer vellum. And then I have this die. I'm going to do that out of the pale papaya. And then I have this DSP here, the Expressions in Ink. So it's kind of got the white and then some green and gold foil flecks in it. And we're going to kind of want the top flowers white, and then we'll have the green all throughout the leaves. So you can kind of position accordingly. So we'll do that. And then I have misplaced my, here we go. Here's my other plexiglass plate. You'll put your second plexiglass plate, the number 3, on top, and we'll run that through the Big Shot. And then we should end up with these super fun cutouts here. So I will be layering these behind some DSP. So I've got this fun marbled polished pink with a little gold flecks in it. I've got some of this, kind of reminds me of like bubble soda little texture in the pale papaya, and then I have some of the Evening Evergreen shimmery vellum here. So we're gonna go ahead and adhere these onto each of their squares. Now the squares are, I believe, yes, they're 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. So that's what the dies are. So I just matched that accordingly to the DSP that I'm layering them onto. Okay, once you finish these, I'm going to grab one more, and this is of the same sheet that I got this marbly pink, except there's a little bit more white to this. So I'm going to take Happiest of Birthdays to You stamp from the All Squared Away stamp set. Grab some Versamark, and I'm just going to ink that up and stamp that right in the center. And then also grab your gold embossing powder here, and I'm going to dump that right on the stamped image that's in Versamark. And then I'll go ahead and heat this with the heat tool. And then once you complete that, you should end up with something that looks like this. So that's our 4th square there. So next, you can take some of the In Color jewels here and kind of bedazzle your little flower centers. So I'll let you play around with that, but I kind of went for this green one in between the green and yellow, and then I added one of these icy colors for the pink, and then I added some yellow jewels for this pale, what is that, pale papaya color there. So I'll go ahead and add those. Okay, so once you finish that, you have all your squares done and ready to go. I'm going to do one more step, and then we'll move on to scoring and making our actual fold for the waterfall. So this is the Label Me Fancy punch, and this is polished pink cardstock. So you'll notice there's a dot here, there's the label, and then there's this little tab slot thing for the top of the punch. What I'm going to do is take the cardstock, stick it in the side of here, and you want to come all the way so that cardstock is just at the edge of this side here. And we're going to punch it, and basically we're punching a hole out. That's all we're trying to do. So you should end up with something that looks like this. Then you'll turn the punch this way and line the hole up in the center, so that way you've got your pre-punched little hole here in your tab that then we can thread through some gold twine for our little pull tab. So feed it in through there, loop it around, and pull these through the loop there, like so. And then also I find that this sometimes gets a little loose, so I go ahead and just tie a knot at the very top. There. So get it nice and snug, pull up, and then you can just trim away your excess little tips there. So that's that. I'll set that aside here, scoot all these over. Next, grab your Simply Scored here, and this is a 1 7/8 inch piece of white cardstock by 8.5. So these are a little funky measurements just because I'm working with the squares here, and they are 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. So we end up scoring it in eighths, which is not ideal, but you guys have got this, so we're good to go. So we're gonna score at 1 7/8, then at 2 5/8, 3 3/8, and 4 1/8. So that's what you'll be scoring at there. So take your piece that we just scored, and we'll crease it in the very center here, and we should have a little edge there. You can also grab your bone folder. That really helps to give it a nice crisp edge. Okay, so once we have that, then we can start layering this onto the card and layer our little pieces on. So we'll take the happiest birthday square, and we're going to layer that right on this square that's the 1 7/8 by 1 7/8 there. So I'll go ahead and take some Tombow glue, and we're going to put glue on the entire back of it. And then next we're going to take the pale papaya, and I find with the easiest thing to do with these next 3 squares is add the glue on the little rectangle piece that you're going to be adding the square to. So then we'll add that, and make sure that your pieces you can fold over like this and crease, and make sure they crease okay. Because you'll need that when we go to put our full card together. So make sure they crease and they're not hanging over at all. So then I'll do the same thing for the next 2. Okay, so this is what you should have. It should look something like this. Next, set this aside, and we're going to grab a 5.5 by 8.5 sheet of Just Jade cardstock and go ahead and fold that in half here. And then I grabbed a 4 by 5 1/4 sheet of the Expressions in Ink DSP, and we're going to go ahead and glue that down to the base card here. Just like that. Now, this is a 5/8 inch strip of gold foil by 4 inches here, and this is what our waterfall piece will pull through and kind of hold as a breaker piece. So the easiest way I found to line this up and get this straight is to take your I think it's 7/8 by 7/8 piece, your full piece here, your last little square, and I'm going to add glue, actually. I'm going to add glue to the very edge of this piece here and then line it up in the very center, or center it between the two edges, and place it right at the edge of this gold foil. Like so. So this is what it should look like. You should have, if I put this behind here, maybe you can see better. So this is what it should look like so. Now, also, go ahead and add your little tab here. So we'll put glue on the opposite side of the gold and put that right in the center there. Now, we're finally ready to attach it to our card base here. So keep it folded like so. So we've got the flat piece here, got the tab glued on the back, and then we've got all of our waterfall pieces here that should be bending freely. So we're going to fold that in half. So this is what it should look like. And then I'm going to add glue just to the gold foil strips that are hanging out here on both sides. That is all I'm gluing, nothing else, because we want to be able to move this at the end. And then I'm going to center this in the center of the card and then place that down. Hold this, give it a second to adhere, like so. And then you should be able to go ahead and pull your waterfall card, and it should be able to move very nicely, and you should have a fun interactive card that will keep you busy for hours. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed, and join me next time. Thanks for watching.